Hey, family, welcome to the Hub. Whoop, whoop. Today on the Coach Cast Show, we are talking about ghosting. Ooh-wee. So, I often get the question of, Coach Cass, why do men ghost? Why do they ghost? And there's several reasons, but understand the majority of the time it has nothing to do with who you are as a wanted woman. Now, wanted means woman achieving new triumphs every day. I believe that you woke up like this, sis. You were born a wanted woman, but then how do you really accept that and understand that and allow a man to go his merry way? I remember I was talking to a guy. I want to say it was like 2 weeks. We were having a good time hanging out. And then I saw some pictures of him and one of my sorority sisters. So I went to my sorority sister and I said, "Hey sis, like, do you have something going with this guy?" Because that's what you do. I don't know about you, but you kind of want to make sure to clear the air if one of your friends or adjacent friends are seeing somebody or have seen somebody. You want the scoop, you want the lowdown, you want to know. Back in college, it was like a no tap list. Like, if he's already been tapped, he's not for you, right? So I went to her, not a close soror, by the way, and she didn't want to give me any deets. Like, she didn't want to tell me anything. She's like, "That's my business." I said, "Okay, very well then, no problem." And then after that, the dude went missing. So for me, it was a direct correlation to me talking to my sorority sister and then him going missing, because essentially either he got caught or whatever, trying to talk to the both of them us at the same time. But it still hurt. Could there have not been a conversation, right? Like, I feel like I'm cute, you're cute. Like, this happens to cute people. Yes, it happens to all people. I recently reposted a post on my Instagram of a lady talking about, Halle Berry got cheated on, Beyonce got cheated on. Like, like sometimes we put folks on a pedestal, like nothing bad will ever happen to them, but bad things happen to everybody, right? And ghosting is one of those that I just don't appreciate. And for me, I was caught up in my feelings and I was only talking to him for 2 weeks. It's not like we were getting married. So I know for some of you, you were ghosted after dating for 3 months or even being married for a few years. I know I have heard almost every story known to man when it comes to women, especially since I work specifically with busy professional women who desire real love. So we dig deep into what you've been through. And yes, sis, I know you've been through it. And I know that it hurts. So, why do men ghost, right? So, one is fear of confrontation. Some men seek to avoid conflict at all costs. They don't necessarily know how to end things gracefully, and they might fear a negative reaction. They don't want you to go off, so they just go missing. Is it right? No. But when we start to think about it, who here had communication class when they were a kid? Not many people. Did your parents sit down and teach you how to communicate in terms of tough conversations? Not many. And oftentimes you were told to, like, what? Be quiet. Only speak when spoken to. So when we start to look about how we were trained, do I blame men? No. Do I seek to understand men? Yes. So it could be, these are all could be's. Now, the foolishness is the foolishness, but here are some could be's, because some of you are looking for answers and you're looking for answers back to the man who went ghost. Just forget it, right? I have had many ghosting situations in my life, from professional to personal. And, what I find also is that oftentimes they just don't know, right? How to deal with confrontation. Exactly what I'm talking about, the fear of confrontation, how to call a spade, how to say, "I can't deliver what you're looking for." right? So you might be like, I'm ready for marriage and all these things. And they realize they're not ready for any of it. And instead of having that conversation, they go missing. They can't deliver. Do you want a man that can't deliver, that couldn't deliver, that is not going to deliver what you need? No, right? So it's also being able to come to that point. I know there's a world of hurt in that. I know there's a maelstrom or a hurricane of emotion in that, but we got to get through it. So, overwhelm. They could literally be overwhelmed with life, right? So, you either might be moving too quickly, you, meaning the two of you, not you. The two of you might be moving too quickly for them, or maybe they have had this understanding that maybe they're overwhelmed with the life, their job. Maybe they don't handle stress well. Maybe they have a relative in the hospital and their job is on the rocks. And the world is coming down on them and they don't know how to express a need for help. So they go into hiding. Is it your duty to go find them in hiding? Not necessarily. It depends on the level of your relationship. And then also you asking yourself, if this is not your husband, is this the person that you need to be with that doesn't know how to deal with their emotions? And maybe they need therapy and haven't sought it. So you could send them a resource, but you don't need to be their resource. Maybe it's not that serious. Maybe they didn't see it as anything more as a one time or a one night or a weekend situation. So they don't feel like they owe you an explanation. So those are just three maybes of what could have happened when a man ghosts. But when we look at the overall scheme of things, if someone excuses themselves from your life, a part of you has to be okay with saying goodbye, with or without closure. So now when it comes to business, I have had individuals go missing that promised deliverables and never delivered on them, right? And a part of you is like, well, then you take the person to court, right? Like, what happened to the person? What happened to the thing that they were supposed to deliver, right? So a part of you, you're hurt because you paid for something and you didn't get it. So just like in love, you feel like you invested time and conversation and you didn't get that reciprocation. And it hurts. And I'm talking to you from a genuine place because I have been there in love and in business. So here are some ways to deal with being ghosted. How do you deal with it? One, acceptance. Oh, understand that ghosting says more about them than it does about you. It's more about them than it is about you. Because if they can't communicate how they feel, what they need, what they can give, what they can't give, then we really have to be honest with ourselves and accept that this is who they are and their inability to handle it. Number two, don't blame yourself. You can't, right? Ghosting is hurtful, but remember, it's their choice to ghost. It's not a reflection on your worth as a wanted woman. You understand that? It does not reflect your worth. It doesn't reflect your worth. So I want you to look at that, right? I want you to look at, have you been blaming yourself for this person going missing? Stop. They chose to go away instead of connect, communicate, right? Instead of connecting and communicating, they decided to leave. And even though it hurts, don't blame yourself. At the recent Wanted Woman Live, so we have a live event that we do annually where 100 women come together in a room to be poured into when it comes to love. And we have a men's panel. And on the men's panel, my husband shared, because a woman asked, what does it mean when a man says it's me and that it's not you? And she was really hurt by this because this man that she was really into shared that with her. And my husband said, back in the day, he was dealing with women, right? Dating women, knowing he had no intentions of marrying. He was not in that space. So literally, it was him and not them. Yet these women could be thinking, wow, he married Coach Cass. Why didn't he marry me? And beating themselves up of their self-worth or what they did or what they didn't do. But a part of it was really where he was in his life. He wasn't ready, right? So don't blame yourself. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Talk about it. Talk about it. Talk about it with a certified expert, right? I am all for getting a therapist. Sis. Talk it through, get it out. When you then what you also have to do is set boundaries, because one thing I know is that sometimes ghosting is followed by breadcrumbing, where they kind of just come back and be like, oh, how you doing? Wait a second, sir, the last time I spoke to you was in 1977. Stay there, right? So we have to set the boundaries of who gets allowed back into our space. I recently talked to a client that she gave a guy a chance that went missing 5 years ago that came back, and she stated what she wanted and what she was about and all that good stuff. And he said he was on board. And guess what, y'all? He went missing again. And after the age of 50, that stuff stings a little bit more, especially when you share what you want. But now we set the boundary. If there's another reach out, there's no response. You don't have to respond. You can set the boundary. Remember back in the day before cell phones, where you're just expected to answer the phone or answer the Facebook message? People used to leave a message on your answer machine, and it was up to you to call that person back. Take it back into time, sis. You don't have to respond. And make sure that you set up a ritual. I don't like the word ritual as a Christian, but you know what I mean? You set up a pattern of how you reaffirm yourself and how do you pour into yourself, right? How do you do that often? Often. How do you often pour into yourself? Now, we specifically have a challenge coming up, right? And you could go to wantedwomanchallenge.com, wantedwomanchallenge.com, to join us for our 3-day Love Vision Challenge. So this challenge is our signature challenge, which I love so much. Thousands of women have gone through this challenge. It is just absolutely amazing. And what is amazing about it is that you are able to get poured into and to get clear about what it is that you want. And you do it in community and not by yourself. So if you've ever been ghosted, this is an amazing challenge for you. If you're someone who's struggled with love, this is an amazing challenge for you. If you're someone that's like, I just want to be in community, this is an amazing challenge for you. Join us, share it with a friend. Go to wantedwomanchallenge.com and join us for this 3-day challenge. Woo, woo, woo. We are going to have a good time. If this was something good to you, make sure that you share it with others. Make sure to rate us, give us 5 stars. I am the Coach Cass Show on every platform. We drop an episode every single week. So in the meantime, in between time, have a good time. And I pray that this was a blessing to you and that you start to look at ghosting just a little bit differently. Much love, sis.